Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I took a mini break away just for a moment, for a week, but it feels like eternity. That's how you know that you're in the right space, doing the right thing at the right time at your life, because it feels like torture sometimes to even take a break and to pull back, even though technically I know I needed it and I know that you guys knew that I needed it. So, but anyways, it feels really good to come back here and talk about this week ahead. Thank you to those that are brand new to the YouTube channel. Don't think that I don't see the comments and the growth and the love and the support. Don't think that it doesn't make me feel like I have butterflies in my stomach every single morning. Thank you guys so much. And also a huge thank you for those that have been there with me since day one and have been sharing and liking and commenting and emailing and subscribing, and just all the love has been unreal. It's more than I set intention for, and I'm beyond grateful. But that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this week ahead, because this week, well, let me take a few steps back, because you guys already know how I like to do. I do like to look at the past before we look into the future, because those aspects, those things that have been happening are applying to us now, even though that transit isn't happening just now in this moment. So one thing that I want to look at is the fact that Mercury has been retrograde. I personally have made a whole video about Mercury retrograde, and I wrote a whole blog about the benefit and the blessing of Mercury retrograde. Granted, he can be a little annoying, but really what this does is it causes us to kind of take a few steps back before we rush forward and push forward. It gives us a chance to kind of revisit old things, opportunities, and chances that we may have missed. For me personally, I like to slow down and retweak and revisit some of the things within my shop or within my own life and reevaluate them. Is it still working? Does it still feel good? Meditate on it and make any changes that need to happen so that I'm always evolving. And I think that as human beings, that's technically what we should be doing. We should always be evolving. We should always be striving, trying to be our highest and greatest selves. When Mercury rules communication and thought, is in the sign of Aries. Aries is the sign that it's currently in, which is what I just said. But when Mercury is in the sign of Aries, it really does want to kind of push forward. And that's what I was saying the last 2 weeks, I want to say. There is this energy and push to kind of go after things. And this is because the sun is in Aries and very aggressive. Uranus is in Aries and wants to kind of throw surprises and switch the game up and force us to be innovative and to take that leap and not even wonder or ask the question of how are we going to solve this. It just says, go do it, just jump. And then as you jump, we'll figure it out as we go along. But again, Mercury ruling our minds and our thoughts is really pumping the brakes. Not only does it rule our thoughts and our minds personally, but it rules the energy around us. So how other people communicate, messages that could come in, emails and conversations and connections, and I don't want to say networking, but the dialogue that happens when people want to come together. So Mercury's really been pumping the brakes. And what I'm seeing this week is the fact that Mercury is going to be trine the vertex. The vertex is the point within the chart that is connected to fated encounters and things that are destined to happen. And the last 2 weeks, even though we have this drive and this push, this momentum, and I know you guys are feeling this because I see it in your emails, I see it in your comments, but it's this push. This huge push that's like, it feels like the universe is like, has you by the butt and just trying to push you up against this wall. And it's like every step you take or everywhere you put your hand slips or a rock falls or, something breaks down or whatever the case may be. So you're feeling this push, you're feeling that momentum, but at the same time, it's like a stop, halt, like go, halt, go, stop. Like it's like this, like, gas, brakes, and it's going to give you whiplash. So what I've been saying is that if you are feeling that drive, that ambition, that motivation, because what can happen is you can feel super frustrated, super annoyed, super irritated, super stressed out because you want to go, you feel this urge to go, but again, you keep hitting those brick walls one step at a time. Every single step, it's a brick wall. And it can create not only exhaustion, it can create frustration. It can burn you out. Especially when I was looking at this chart last week, the sun and Saturn were squaring off so hard. And really what Saturn does is it constricts, it confines. And the sun rules our life energy. Now remember, the sun is moving through Aries right now, and that has a lot of energy. But the Saturn comes in and says, slow down, hold up. I see that you want to go, but stop, because there's something that needs your attention. And with the passing full moon in Libra, for a lot of us, what needed our attention was areas that were completely imbalanced for a long time. And we needed to focus on revisiting and making sure that things are balanced. So this meant relationships. This meant respect. This meant taking care of ourselves, taking care of our businesses, taking care of our friendships, important relationships, our goals, our health. So when you are looking as an astrologer, hopefully the astrologers that you're going to, myself included, hopefully they're talking about the bigger picture, because what I don't want is for people to look and see, okay, these planets are moving through Aries, so this should be phenomenal. This should be this push and this new beginning. Not so. We have to look at the whole entire chart, because yes, we do want to get started, but there's so many things that are acting to halt us. Not only, again, is Mercury retrograde, but last week the sun was squaring off with Saturn and Mars. Mars is about aggression, ambition, and wants you to go, but Mars was squaring off with the sun, and that created intense frustration. That creates intense irritability. It makes people sometimes want to, I don't want to say act out, but it'll make you want to explode, especially the way that the planets have been aspected last week. So for a lot of people, I mean, I actually saw it on my Instagram. So many people are like, I have to tap out. I need to take a break. I need to take a break. And that's because, it's sometimes, it's best to kind of go with the flow of things. If the universe is telling you, look, there's an imbalance here, or stop pushing against me, like stop, chill. If the universe or the cosmos is signaling for you to cool your jets, the best thing for you to do is to calm it down and to wait for that wave to pass. And that's actually one of the reasons why I was signaled to kind of take a break in my own life. Granted, it was so spontaneous, but again, like I'm not, if I'm going to tell you guys to follow what the universe is telling you and what the cosmos are telling you, I definitely have to follow my own advice. And even though it's spontaneous, even though it doesn't make sense to other people, you have to always do what's right for you and not force and push, because you will burn yourself out. You will break down bridges. You will exhaust yourself. You will do more harm than good. So I was like, I'm clocking out. I'll see you guys next week. I get it. It's time for me to take a break. Say no more. So I definitely took advantage of that, and hopefully you did too. That being said, now that we said all of that, this week, ooh, it's so good. This week is so good. It's like this little peach that's sitting on the tree, the peach tree, and you're just like, whoa, didn't see you there. What a little blessing from the universe. And this blessing in my eyes when I'm looking at this chart is the aspects of Venus. Venus rules relationships, beauty, value, aesthetic, money, like actual cha-ching money. And she is so comfortable in her sign of Taurus. What I love is the fact that Taurus also is very grounded and very earthy. And I just feel like this is something that we need. We've been going through a lot the last month. There's been a lot of high energy, a lot of movement, a lot of momentum. And Venus, even though she doesn't rule our minds or our life energy, she does give a veil or a comfort blanket in a lot of ways, and gives beauty and magic. Well, maybe not magic, but she gives beauty and substance and value to our life here. She makes things more sensual and tangible, especially when she's moving through the sign of Taurus. I hope that that makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm being very clear, probably because Mercury retrograde, and I have a lot of energy. I'm so excited to get back on here and start talking to you guys for this week, and I'm definitely excited for live chat tonight, Monday, because I'm filming this on Monday at 7 p.m. So my energy is very high, so deal with me, bear with me. But Venus currently moving through Taurus is very sensual. The quote that keeps coming to me, or the metaphor that I keep on getting, is stop and smell the roses, because Taurus is very touch, and very sensual. So food, smells, the way that things feel, and comfort and luxury, but like not just like luxury that is trendy, but just forever luxury, feeling good, feeling comforted. So Venus, as she's moving through Taurus this week, she's aspecting some really stunning planets. And the first one actually that she just passed on the 7th was, and even though this forecast is for the 9th, moving through the rest of the week, she still is under the influence and the touch of this aspect that she made on the 7th, which was with Saturn. Now, it's so funny because this creates this wonderful opportunity to kind of cement bonds with people, and to also really make a good investment or a purchase if there's something that it is that you've been looking for, especially when it comes to higher quality of things, so higher quality of relationships, or maybe if you're going shopping, or maybe if you're even planning a trip and booking a really nice hotel for yourself. Even though Mercury is currently retrograde, it can create, again, work with the energy. It can create a good opportunity for you to jump on some sales and get a really high quality item for a very low price, maybe because it was mismarketed or mislabeled, or whatever the case may be, or this is across the board. Or if, let's say, you're looking for a designer something and you go to a consignment store, or you Tradesy. Tradesy is one of my favorite apps to use to get high designer things for a lower price. This is not a promotion. I wish that they were promoting me. I would love that so much, but so, and the reason why I'm saying consignment and vintage is because Mercury, again, is retrograde and brings back things from the past. And when Saturn and Venus are aspected in this way, Venus being in the sign of luxury and tangibles, so that's things, and Saturn ruling forever, high quality, lasting quality. This is an excellent time this past weekend. Hopefully you did some vintage shopping, and if not, then this week would be a great time for you to go out and look for some bargains or some higher quality things for low price, or maybe even to sell your own stuff. I feel like I'm promoting for Tradesy right now. But I will put a link down below for that, so that if you are interested in looking into that app. I personally love it. Again, they're not promoting this video by any means. I wish, but I will definitely pull that down below, because I think that there's opportunity there for you guys to make money. And that's the other thing too, money this week. Again, Taurus wants security and financial stability and abundance and luxury. It wants its environment to be not only stunning, but comfortable, and feel like home, and to feel really good. So this week, that's another way that you could see this aspect showing itself, revealing itself. Don't be afraid if you have the finances. And again, I'm going to keep on talking about finances, because Venus in Taurus is connected to money and security and beautiful things and things that we love. But don't be afraid to, spend, to put down that little chunk of change. Keep the receipt on there, of course, just in case you change your mind later. We can't ignore the fact that Mercury is retrograde, but just be mindful. The one thing that I want you guys to be aware of is the fact that Sun is going to be squaring off with Pluto. This is one of the negative things that I see for this week. And basically what I'm seeing is this power struggle. That can create it can create a power struggle with people in leadership positions, or maybe within your own self. Sometimes it's a power struggle within yourself. Let's say you are calling the shots for yourself. Let's say you're working on being more responsible, or more not secure, but let's say you're working on being more like what's the word that it is that I'm looking for? When someone is taking control of their lives and taking like self-mastery in a lot of ways, and just kind of like having that strong backbone and delegating. Actually, interestingly enough, the cards that I pulled are totally connected to this, so we'll talk about that in a moment. I did pull cards for this week ahead because I wanted to see what the energy was, not only astrologically, but intuitively and within the tarot. But really what I see is a power struggle. So with this, it can be people overstepping their boundaries, or you learning and growing how to own and command your power. And let me just go ahead and dive into the cards that I pulled. I pulled the Emperor reversed. And the Emperor reversed is known for kind of taking his power and taking his control and channeling it in negative ways. So he can be kind of like money hungry or power hungry or disrespectful because he's so consumed with his own power. Like he has this like, you know, delusion almost of, and takes advantage of people and takes advantage of certain circumstances. He's not thinking about what others want. He's not thinking about the greater good. He's just, he feels like he can assert himself simply because he can. Now, I'm saying he because this card is masculine, but this can be male or female. And this could be you or someone else. And when the Emperor reverse shows up, again, he can manifest himself in that way where he's being way too commanding and controlling, or this can be someone who, again, needs to strengthen their backbone and really put their foot down and become more commanding and protective of what it is that they need, that they are guarding, and what it is that they're securing, the security that they've built for themselves. And in some ways that could be a physical thing like a home, a career, an idea that you have, a relationship. And in other ways it could be something a little bit more symbolic, meaning like you commanding and protecting your boundaries, you saying no and being firm on that. Because with Sun squaring off with Pluto, again, it really can be a power struggle, and it can challenge you, and it makes you need to put your foot down and assert yourself, but then also make sure on the flip side of that coin that you're not being too commanding or too pushy or too forward, because again, this energy is very aggressive and very bold and in your face, and doesn't really stop to consider other people's feelings or emotions. It just powers through and powers ahead, and that's what I see for the Emperor here, as he's being reversed. The other thing too that I see on the 11th is the fact that Venus, again, we're going to be seeing a lot of Venus and the energy of Venus this week. She's going to be trine Mars, and this is highly sexual, very cute, very charming, very romantic. This is a perfect day to go on a date. Let me pull up the calendar really quickly. That is going to be on the 11th, at least in Eastern Standard Time. And you're going to feel her aspect the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. And a little bit of Saturday the 14th, but that's because Venus she doesn't speed through. It's not like the moon or Mercury or anything like that. She does take her time. So we do have that wonderful aspect of Venus and Mars getting together and blowing kisses and flirting with each other. Mars, again, represents our ambition. We might actually be feeling this already. I just feel this influence all this week. Again, this is an amazing time to work on relationships, to go on a date, to think about, even though Mercury is retrograde, especially for brand new, it's okay. I've seen Mercury retrograde bring back people from past lives, so karma, and bring them into this life so that they finally meet their soulmate or their twin flame, especially with the way that the planets are kind of aspecting themselves. So stay open to what the universe has for you. Be bold, be open, envision what you want, write it down, set intentions. Oh, it's just truly a stunning chart that we have this week. I personally love it. On the 12th, Venus is going to be sextile Neptune. Neptune rules illusion and fantasy, and puts this like veil over our eyes in a good way that makes us see things in rose-colored glasses. So really, this is a phenomenal week to work on love and to think about love. And if not love, then beautifying yourself and feeling good and feeling sexy and flirty and confident. And if not that, then definitely working on career or money or security and painting the picture of what it is that you want, making things feel good, because it's not always so heavy all the time. Life is not meant to be so heavy all the time. You do need beauty and fun and enjoy and love in your life in all aspects. So just kind of infusing that into your week this week. Jupiter on the 14th, Jupiter, the planet of abundance, is going to be sextile and touching Pluto. And I see this, actually, this has already started to happen, but it's going to be exact. Jupiter is currently retrograde. I did make a video about that, and I will link that down below. But Jupiter and Pluto, it's just going to be like positive changes all around for the most part. Even though Jupiter is retrograde, it kind of doesn't make things large, like a huge explosion of like confetti in your face. It's a little bit more smaller, like, surprise, I got you this cupcake. You know, it's not everything that it is that you asked for, but it's something. And, you know, that's what I kind of see the universe here doing for us this week. It's like, look, I gave you this little something, and it's going to change your life. It's not going to be a huge change. It's not going to be like, you just won the lottery, woo! It's going to be more of, here's $50. Go get yourself something nice. And I'm using this as a metaphor and as an example. I'm not saying that you're going to get a large sum of money, even though it can happen depending on what chart Jupiter rules in your chart and what Pluto rules within your chart. But either way, I just see this as such a stunning week. The last thing that I want to talk about is on Sunday, Mercury, the planet that rules, again, communication and thoughts, is going to go direct. Now, hold off for just a minute there. Don't get so excited. Don't, you know, blow that confetti in my face currently. I've noticed and I've seen that Mercury creates more trouble when he is moving direct. Within that week or within 3 days before and after he goes direct, he seems to kind of give his biggest temper tantrum. So with this, just definitely don't be like, Mercury's now direct, we can, you know, go ham, go ape. Like, don't do it. You're more likely now to lose your keys, to get in a fight, to have miscommunication, to break your GPS, to get lost, to mess up a flight, to get your flight canceled, or whatever the case may be, however this is manifesting itself for you. So just be a little bit more vigilant. Just make sure that you're double checking and rechecking and triple checking any type of conversations, emails, especially important emails that need to be sent. If you send a text message and you don't hear from that person, just go back and be like, well, did this text message actually get sent? Or let me reread this. Did I accidentally put in, you know, the wrong word? Did the phone autocorrect to say duck instead of what I really wanted to say? So it's like, whatever. Just go ahead and revisit and recheck before you cross, cancel, delete, or, you know, make a mistake or regret something and just be like, oh, damn it, how did I not see that? Well, because Mercury finally went direct and was just doing more harm, not harm, but just, you know, muddling around. He's like a little gremlin. He's like a little fairy that just kind of like flits around and like moves your stuff. And you're like, I could have sworn I put my keys here. Like, no, you didn't. So Mercury just kind of moves those things and makes things annoying. That being said, the 16th, we are going to have the new moon in Aries. That is a totally new video that I need to talk about, especially since it starts the next week. The new moon, I believe, is going to be happening on the 16th, which is a Monday. Yes. So we'll talk about that in our next video, so make sure that you're subscribed. Before we go, there is an intuitive message that I wanted to share that I thought about, and I just took some time to channel before I created this video, and I wrote down the message, and for me, what I'm seeing for a lot of us this week is harmony and balance and allowing yourself to play and to enjoy. The idea and the energy of the inner child is being supremely highlighted this week, and allowing yourself to revisit those ideas and revisit creating and being creative and being expressive and being loving, even though sometimes the world is not very supportive of that nurturing, sweet, fun, innocent energy that you have within you. you still have to allow it to express itself. You still have to allow yourself to be creative and to believe. And that's one thing that I'm seeing this week, and I am so excited about this, is the fact that Chiron was or is in the sign of Pisces, but soon is going to be moving into Aries. And Chiron is that wounded healer, that wounded child. And Chiron, when it was in Pisces, was really compassionate and sensitive, but now that it's in its final moments in the sign of Pisces, and I'll make a video about this. If you'd like me to see a video about this, you can just go ahead and thumbs up or comment down below. But Chiron's going to be moving into Aries, and it's going to be more forward, more direct, and more ambitious. And it's all going to be about new beginnings. But still, there's this last bit of magic and rediscovery and opening your heart and not worrying so much and allowing yourself to glow, allowing yourself to experience like the innocence and beauty of life. And that's what I want to see for you guys, especially as Venus is going to be the highlighting planet of this entire week. And Venus is not by any means heavy. She's not heavy. She's very flirtatious. She's very fun. She's very creative and stunning and loving and beautiful. And that needs to be the energy that this week takes on. I feel like the more that you are open to that, the more that you are open to being positive and allowing yourself to glow and to experience and to vibrate and to be vibrant, the more I feel that the universe is going to talk to you, and the more that you'll get messages, the more you'll be directed. Again, not everything is so heavy all the time. It's been very heavy for a lot of us for a few good weeks, maybe months for some of you. And now it's time for you to kind of, relax a little bit. Again, Venus in Taurus, she needs to relax. She needs to kind of luxuriate a little bit and to feel good. And feeling good has an impact on every area of our lives. So it kind of trickles into other things. The other thing too that I'm seeing this week, and the cards that I pulled, is the Eight of Wands and the Devil reversed, and the Emperor again. So with the Emperor, I was seeing, the Sun squaring Pluto, and the Sun moving away from that tense alignment that happened last week with Saturn and Mars. Really, this is about boundaries, and it's about owning your power and saying no. And really, this is so important because it's those things that take away from you, that take away from your light and take away from your vibrancy, because the weight of them and the impact of them is so intense and so rough and so brutal and so rigid. And that's what the Emperor is showing me, is things are too heavy, and you've crossed a line, and not you, but maybe someone else. You crossed a line, and because of that, you're making me negative. You're making me feel bad. You're making my energy low. You're taking away from my ability to look at life in color and feel good and feel love and to be expressive and creative, whatever that is. Let's say it's a job. Let's say it's a person. So a relationship or a lifestyle choice. What is this Emperor reversed, followed by the Devil? No. This is about cutting that chain and making that that disconnection. I know. And this is when you create that space and that boundary, and anything that is too heavy or too confining, too much of a burden that literally, it's taking the life out of you. It takes the breath out of you. It makes you be diminished in a lot of ways. It takes away from your light. It has to go. Your reason for being here on life is not to spend every day worried or drained or exhausted or broken down or beat up by a situation or a person. That's not for you. And if you are in that space, the Devil reversed says, look, and the Eight of Swords next to that says, look, you actually have the power to remove yourself from this cycle. And it's more mental sometimes than anything else. And this is the Eight of Swords is so mental. She can get out of this if she wanted to, but it's a choice that you have to make. And the Devil reversed says, look, if you just wiggle yourself out of this, you can cut that chain. All of it is in your power. All of it was within your hands. It's time for you to remove yourself from that space. The last thing that I want to say, I know this video is a little long, but again, I haven't talked to you guys in forever, and I have a lot of messages that I want to share, is meditation is going to be so phenomenal for a lot of you. When you allow yourself to become still, you open up to hearing God and the angels and the guides talking to you. There is a message that needs to come through. There's feelings that you need to feel in order to realign you. And the only way that you can feel that is just by being in a space where you allow yourself to meditate and to be open to it again. Okay, so I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me again. And I can't wait for this week. Let me know how you're being impacted by this week. Even though it's Monday that I'm filming this, I really do want to hear how this is manifesting itself for you, how you've been feeling last week, if last week was good for you or draining or whatever the case may be. I really want an update, so comment down below. I will be looking at all of those comments and taking notes and commenting back to them, okay? So for that, I want to say, again, thank you, and we'll talk and see each other very soon. I love you. Bye.